Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles, and today we are going to do some book recommendations while playing a game, and Jazz is here, as you can see. So I let Twitter choose which video I was going to film next. I gave 4 options and this was the winner. I guess I'm really not surprised. I had this idea way back when I did a live show on Heather's channel with Brie and Nicole, and we played this game, which is based off of the trend that was going around on TikTok, I think. And I had the idea to do this video when we did that, but I wrote out all of my prompts and then just never filmed the video, but we're gonna do it now. So first up we have, he's a 9, but he's your patient, a serial killer, and knows all of your secrets. For me personally, this is a 1, but I know a lot of people will actually like this one, so perhaps for you, he is a 10. The book in question is Born Darkly. This is available on Kindle Unlimited, and it is the first in a duology. I did read the first book, but I didn't like it. I especially didn't like the serial killer, so I decided to DNF the series, but I think that a lot of other people would really like it. We are following a therapist who ends up counseling a serial killer, and it turns out that he knows more about her than she does about him. I personally just didn't like how manipulative he kind of was, and this will probably work in his favor for other people, but he is also a vigilante serial killer. He only kills people who have hurt others, so it wasn't for me, but it definitely will be for someone else. Then we have, he's 10, but he's your son's best friend. So this is a book that Nicole had recommended to me for age gap romances. I was trying to figure out if I liked age gap, and I do, but only in certain circumstances, and this is one of those circumstances. This is also the first in a duology that is available on Kindle Unlimited, and it is If She Says Yes. In this, we are following Tommy, who is in love with his best friend's mom. He has been for a while, and he finally has the opportunity to express his feelings, and it worked out really well. I enjoyed it. Would definitely recommend. Now we have, he is a 7, but he is an assassin, and he was sent to kill you. This one is actually a fantasy, and a YA fantasy at that. I don't think it would be classified as a fantasy romance. I think it is strictly fantasy, and you are being loud. You done? But it is We Hunt the Flame. In this one, we are following a young girl who is known as the Hunter. A lot of people don't actually know that the Hunter is a woman, but she is hunting in this magical forest. Hey, stop. In this magical forest that a lot of people end up dying in, and she's doing it to feed her people. She gets sent on a mission to recover an ancient book that could restore magic to the land, but the Prince of Arawiya, who is also their deadliest assassin, also gets sent on that same mission, not only to retrieve that same book, but to kill her. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Didn't love the second book. I don't know why I picked a bunch of books that are the first in duologies. For a YA fantasy, it wasn't that bad, although a lot of people do not like this. And I know Nat loves it, but a lot of our friends do not. Now we have, he's a 10, but he was supposed to be a one-night stand. You made plans for a second date, and he ghosted you. He could potentially still be a 10, but the fact that he ghosted me makes him a 9, unless he had a really good reason. And the book that inspired that is The Right Swipe by Alicia. This is the first in the Modern Love series, which I do have a series review of, so I'll have that linked to the cards and in the description. In this, we are following Rhiannon, who is the CEO of this dating app. She is looking to acquire another dating app company, and one of the spokespeople for that app is Samson, who is an ex-NFL player, I believe. I think that's right. They had met on her app, but they had met for a one-night stand, so after they had their night, they made plans, and he didn't show up for whatever reason, but because of the fact that they linked for a one-night stand, he had no way to contact her. But we followed their story from there, and I actually really liked it, and this is my favorite in that series. Now we have, he's an 8, but he's 700 years old, and you could apply this to literally any YA fantasy from about 10 years ago. Twilight, Shadow and Bone, all that shit. For me, this is a 1. Because that's weird. Next is, he's a 10, but he's an AI. I have to admit that I was actually surprised that I enjoyed this book. I really didn't know what to expect. I don't read a lot of anything with artificial intelligence, especially not romance. So that was interesting, but it is The AI Who Loved Me by Alyssa Cole. I listened to the audiobook of this, which is exclusive to Audible, unfortunately. But I did really enjoy it. It was really good. It was a really great story. I like Alyssa Cole. She is supposed to be writing more in this series, but she hasn't published anything in a while, but hopefully we get updates on that soon. Pretty interesting read. Next we have, he's a 9, but you're betrothed to his twin brother, and he wants to seduce you and steal your kingdom. This one is a book that Heather recommends often, and I was surprised that I enjoyed it. It was okay. There were also a lot of plot twists that I didn't see coming that I enjoyed. I think that heavily weighed in on my enjoyment. I don't remember what I rated it, maybe a 3 or 3.5. In this, we are following twin brothers. One of them is the king, the other I think is like the head of his guard or something. But the one who's the head of the guard thinks his brother is a fucking idiot and he's a terrible king. And he promised his mother on her deathbed that he would not kill his brother. So he is trying to figure out how to rule a kingdom without killing his brother. And he plans to do that by seducing his brother's bride-to-be. It was an interesting story and it was a fun time. And my last one is he's a 10, but he is your nemesis of 15 years. So I actually read an arc of this book and ended up enjoying it. This is the finale to a romance companion novel series, and I really liked it. The female main character in this one is my favorite in the series. Took a little while for the male main character to grow on me, but that's because his actions were stupid and led to miscommunication, which I fucking hate. But it is The Hookup Plan by Farrah Rashan. I really enjoyed this one. It is the last book in the Boyfriend Project series. Plus, I really enjoy Enemies to Lovers, so that also worked in its favor. I just think that after what he did, he should have groveled a little bit more. And if he had, I probably would have liked him and he'd probably be my favorite. But overall, it was still a really good time. I'm really excited to see what she ends up writing next. I will definitely be picking it up. So that is it. That is all that I've come up with, and surprisingly most of these were romances. But let me know how you feel about the prompts and about any of the books that I mentioned. Let me know if there are other books that you think of that fit these prompts as well. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.